CNN regretfully has agreed to pay former CNN anchor Don Lemon $24.5 million after he was fired. Let that sink in for a moment. I'm Tyrone Bowman. This is Tyrone Bowman Tonight. According to DailyMail, Don Lemon will receive the total amount he was set to receive if his final contract concluded 3.5 years after his ousting in 2023. He was fired from CNN after 17 years with the network after sparking accusations of sexism when he said Republican Nikki Haley was past her prime. CNN has agreed to pay Don Lemon $24.5 million to settle the ousted anchor separation deal nearly 10 months after he was sacked for saying Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Lemon, 57, will receive the total amount he was set to receive if his final contract concluded 3.5 years after his ousting, the Wrap reported. The former primetime host was fired from CNN in April 2023 after 17 years with the network after sparking accusations of sexism when he said Republican presidential candidate Haley was past her prime, even after his co-hosts showed their shock at his comment. Lemon doubled down, pretty much like these politicians, right? Double down. They double down on all their wrong statements. They double down even when they're wrong. Triple down, quadruple down. No, the reason why they paid the money because they unlawfully fired Don Lemon. Bottom line, let's just tell it the way it is. They unlawfully and illegally fired Don Lemon, and they had to ante up. That's in the words of my people. So, the former primetime host was fired from CNN in April 2023 after 17 years, when the network, after sparking accusations of sexism, when he said Republican presidential candidate Haley was past her prime. Lemon announced his return to broadcasting with a new show on X in January 2024, nearly a year after he was unceremoniously fired for sexist and ageist remarks on air. I just love these terms they come up with. Well, let's take a look at Don Lemon. Who's laughing now? Let's get back to the article here. When Lemon announced his departure, he said he was stunned that management did not have the decency to tell him directly in a post on X, formerly known as Twitter. CNN's communications team disputed this claim, saying his tweet was inaccurate. In a statement on X, he wrote, "I was informed this morning by my agent that I had been terminated by CNN. I am stunned. After 17 years at CNN, I would have thought someone in management would have had the decency to tell me directly. At no time was I ever given an indication that I would not be able to continue to do the work I love at the network. It is clear that there were some larger issues at play. With that said, I want to thank my colleagues and the many teams I have worked with for an incredible run. They are the most trusted journalists in the business, and I wish them all the best." CNN's communications team denied Lemon's claims that he'd been sacked without ceremony, saying his statement about this morning's events is inaccurate. I don't believe them. Because corporations today fire people for whatever reason or reasons they choose to, and then they demand a person to give them a 2 weeks notice. Why? If you don't have any loyalty to the employee, why should an employee have any loyalty to a company? For what? So you can receive an advance notice that someone is going to leave and then you'll fire them within that 2 week period? You must be crazy. For all those who are in the job market, learn how to protect yourself. Do not become a slave to corporate America. Do your own thinking, do your own research, become an entrepreneur. Always have a backup plan for your life. In case anything goes wrong, then you won't be at the mercy of a weekly or bi-weekly paycheck. According to the article, he was offered an opportunity to meet with management, but instead released a statement on Twitter. The separation payout agreement, reported for the first time this week, draws the saga between CNN and Don Lemon to a close after nearly 1 year. Now, I'm going to talk about the former CNN CEO, Chris Lynch. He was fired. He's the one who fired Don Lemon, a MAGA Republican. Yeah. He's the one who fired Don Lemon, and then he was fired in April, 2 months before he was. Isn't that something? In June 2023, Chris was fired as CNN's CEO after an article by the Atlantic magazine saw more than 100 CNN employees questioning his ability to lead the organization into the future. Mark Thompson. Let me show you the dude who fired Don Lemon. Put him up here. This guy right here. He's the one who fired Don Lemon. What goes around comes around. So, network CEO Chris Lynch confirmed the firing in an internal message, thanking Lemon for 17 years on air and telling staff he would forever be a part of the CNN family. Man, you know what you can do with that CNN family? Think about it. Lynch added that he was committed to the success of CNN This Morning, the failing morning news show Lemon had been helming with anchors Poppy Harlow and Caitlin Collins. 1 month after Don was fired, it was revealed that Caitlin would be leaving the show as well and switching to a nighttime news segment instead. She was later replaced by Phil Mattingly. So in June 2023, weeks after Caitlin's exit, Chris was fired as CNN CEO after an article by the Atlantic magazine saw more than 100 employees questioning his ability to lead the organization into the future. Mark Thompson took over soon after. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be reporting this story from some other news outlets as well. But for now, I'm Tyrone Bowman. Never surrender. Never.